Hey, everybody. Welcome to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. Today, we're going to be talking about making weight loss fun. Imagine that, losing weight and having fun. So, welcome back to Weight Loss for Women Over 40. I am your host, Nikki T. And today, we are tackling the big question about how do you actually enjoy the process of losing weight? Because let's be honest here, most of us have been trained to believe weight loss is about suffering and punishment and beratement and just basically having it suck the entire time until you get to that leanness that you want. And then you're like, yay, I've arrived. And then you go back to doing what you used to do because it's not something sustainable, right? It's been sold to us that it is all about pain, punishment, pushing through the pain. But what if I told you, and I think you know this is why most people quit. You can't keep that up. So today I am flipping the script and I'm going to show you how to make weight loss something that you actually look forward to doing. So buckle up because hopefully it will be a fun episode for you today. All right. So why do we think weight loss sucks, right? If you grew up in the 70s, 80s, 90s, moving on from there, probably the diet industry has really trained us to believe weight loss equals misery, that you have to suffer to have that lean body, and that if you didn't suffer to have that lean body, you don't deserve it. Heaven forbid it should just come naturally, right? Childhood messages that we were taught. I literally was talking to a client the other day, and she was talking about how she's a teacher, and they were had these papers that were talking about how, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I disagree with that. Breakfast is not the most important meal of the day. The most important meal of the day is when you decide that you're hungry and you go eat. It doesn't matter what time that starts. And I talked to her about how, breakfast, lunch, and dinner was really kind of created in this industrial revolution age of like when people had to show up to work at a certain time, they had lunch at a certain time, they had dinner at a certain time. It was very structured and kind of rigid, right? Because that was the only time they got to eat. And we still are carrying this through to the day. And yes, some of you guys probably are working and you have certain times that you get to eat. Um, but again, we are dictated by the clock as to what time we eat, not based on what the heck our body needs in that moment. So these are really impacting us through the days. Another thing we talked about, I talked about with a client is she was saying how her a family member was telling her son to just finish those last two bites of whatever it was. There's only two more bites, but the kid was not hungry. And what message are you sending to your child of like, they're saying, yeah, my body's full, and you're like, no, but finish the last two bites. What are you setting your kids up for, right? And again, we were taught this. I know I was taught this. Clean your plate, that kind of thing. Also body image, right? How we look at our bodies. Our bodies are amazing. And we're so diverse as to what we look like. I mean, there's no two bodies on this planet that look identical. And also exercise. Like, what is the message behind exercise? That it has to be grueling, that we have to start flipping tires, that if you don't have calluses ripped up on your hand, you didn't do a workout. I call BS, right? The reason punishment-based workouts never last is because our brains are designed for comfort, right? I'm not saying stay comfortable in the sense because I think you have to step out of your comfort zone in order to grow. But to have this like gruelingness and this beratement and this constant, I'm not good enough unless I do XYZ, it just doesn't last long term. So, what if weight loss was more about gaining more energy, having more confidence, enjoying the things that you're doing instead of losing something? So, I want to offer you a mini challenge in this episode. I want you to think about something that you once hated, but later enjoyed. So, I know for me, it was mushrooms. I hated mushrooms as a child. I thought they were slimy and weird and tasted funny. And now, oh my goodness, I got an omelet the other day. It was so good. I was out and I had an omelet and it had, I don't know, three or four different mushrooms types in it and goat cheese. Amazing. It was delicious. what is the difference between being a child and thinking mushrooms are yucky and being an adult and thinking, oh my gosh, I could eat mushrooms all day long? It's really just a thought. It could be my taste buds have changed. Okay. But there are other things like if you didn't enjoy something like maybe coffee or doing yoga or a certain TV show, and now you do, your perspective has changed, right? So let's talk about rewiring your brain for fun, right? And enjoyment. If you've listened to this podcast, you know I talk about the primitive brain versus the sophisticated brain. Your primitive brain is your subconscious brain, whatever you want to call it, your reptilian brain. And then we have what I call the sophisticated brain is your prefrontal cortex. That's the one where your dreams and your goals and aspirations are. The thing is your brain is like a toddler running around causing mayhem, right? It does what it wants to do because it wants to feel good in the moment and it avoids feeling bad. So I want you to imagine a 3-year-old basically driving your bus, running around, creating decisions for you, and operating from that capacity. Because I got to tell you, most adults are running around with a 3-year-old toddler brain. They are definitely in primitive brain mode and they don't realize it. We kind those if you're in that realm and you kind of flitter into the sophisticated brain, you're like, oh, I have a dream, and then you get squashed right back down because your toddler brain will bring you back down to, or your primitive brain will bring you back down, same thing, to like, no, that's not realistic. You can't do that. We want to just have this moment. We want to overindulge right now because that's what feels good. And that is fine to an extent, but we have dreams and goals, right? So if you're running around operating from your toddler brain, you are not going to hit your goals. Bottom line, right? Because that part of your brain just wants pure instant gratification at all times. and, and you're not going to aspire to your goals. It's basically saying, hey, why do we need to leave the cave? We're really good here. We're not dead. We're not dying. There's no threat of death right now. Let's just stay safe. Go out of the cave. Holy crap. We get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, right? So creating positive emotional connections to the movements that you do, to the exercise, to the workouts, to however you decide you want to move your body, to what you decide to eat, how you want to fuel your body, what foods light you up, to the mindset shifts. Mindset, again, you have listened to me for any length of time, mindset is where the starting line begins. Your weight loss journey does not start with food or exercise. It starts in your brain. It starts between your ears. It starts in uncovering what is going on in your brain. How are you operating? What are the patterns that are showing up in your life? That is where the true change comes from. You can try to change the food and exercise all you want, but if you haven't done the mindset work, it's not going to last. So finding ways of like looking at your things that you like to do, like what do you absolutely love doing? Do you like rollerblading? Do you like walking in the park? Do you like doing yoga? Do you like mushrooms in your eggs and goat cheese, right? Find things that light you up, right? We're meant to be on this planet to have an enjoyable life. It's not meant to be all sacrifice and pain and all this just the unnecessary discomfort. Okay. Again, I do feel like you need to be uncomfortable to an extent in order to make the change, right? Because if you're too comfortable, you're just not going to do anything. So the secret is to make, especially workouts, feel like self-care instead of punishment. To look at food as I'm fueling my body as opposed to, no, I have to eat this crappy chicken, bland chicken and cardboard, whatever. Start going internal instead of the external. I'm so big on this. Everything that we have been taught from the diet and fitness industry is all external. How many calories are you supposed to consume? How many calories have you burned? How many steps have you done? Like it's all external and you're looking for the answers in data points and things like that, as opposed to going internal and going, ooh, what do I want to eat right now? What's going to light me up? What's going to give me some energy? How do I feel after I eat a whole package of Oreos? How do I feel when I eat salmon and avocado? Start getting curious. Okay. Your body is not the enemy. I talk to women over 40 all the time, and a lot of them who are just either starting to work with me or they're not in my program, essentially. They think their body is fighting against them. They're in this like ongoing battle. Oh, it's my hormones. Oh, I'm in perimenopause. Oh, I didn't sleep well. Oh, my body just is not cooperating with me. And I get it. But again, what we've been taught about perimenopause and menopause doesn't always compute across the board. I know people who just had peach fuzz on their face, and that was the only symptom they had. I know people who have gained weight in menopause and then lost it working with me. So, again, I'm not negating that your hormones don't change or anything like that, but let's find out if it's your mindset first and what you've been taught. Because, again, your thoughts become your reality. And if you're thinking that menopause is going to suck, and so is perimenopause, guess what your reality is going to be? It's going to suck. So get curious instead of criticizing yourself, right? Treat your body like you're on the same team because you are. You're living inside of this vessel and it's trying desperately to take care of you and work with you. But we're inundated by preconceived standards. We're inundated by what we were taught as a child of what is considered normal, what is, how you should look and things like that. Um, your body is trying to keep you alive, and we're constantly fighting and battling against it. And then add medications and environmental factors and things like that. Like we are so far from our natural space of our body. It's frightening. It really is. I find it very frightening. Like our food is no longer food anymore. The air we breathe. And again, I don't want to go down like the whole negative attitude of what's going on in the world, but again, all that stuff is external. When you get to the internal and you start getting curious and start going, oh, how do I feel? That's when things start opening up and that's when things start to change. Get curious, stop criticizing yourself. Listen to your body instead of forcing yourself. Whenever you hear the words, I have to force myself, I need to buckle up, buttercup, right? Suck it up, buttercup. Um, that is you going against the goals that you have. You're out of alignment, right? And it's not going to last. You can force yourself to do a ton of things, but it's not going to be sustainable. And also get into your head of like, how do you talk to yourself? You have to follow me on Instagram if you're not already. It's at Weight Loss for Women Over 40. Actually, on any of my social medias, I've been posting reels and videos and shorts on all my social medias. So whether that's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube. But talking about, there's one in particular that I absolutely love, but it's talking about how you talk to yourself, right? You wouldn't say half the things that you say inside your brain to another human being. So why are you saying it to yourself? So falling in love with the process. And I know this sounds like a foreign concept. And no, you're not going to be in love with the process every single day. It's like being married or being in a relationship. You're not always in like, love and wonderfulness all the time. There's ebbs and flows. It's the same thing with this process. But a majority of the time, I'm hoping that the person that you are with and you are spending the most time with, that I would say 80% of the time, maybe 90% of the time, you're loving this person. You're enjoying being around them. It's the same thing with weight loss process. Getting yourself to an 80% of like, this is awesome. This feels great in my body. I'm so excited that I get to work out my body today in preparation for my future me, who's going to thank me 10 years from now because I'm moving and stretching and doing all the things to take care of myself. Focus on the feeling instead of the results. I know we're so fixated on, I have to get to the body. I have to get to the body. I have to get to the body. I talked about this in one of the last podcasts about driving from New Jersey to California. If you're constantly focused on California, 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 you're going to miss all the states in between. You're going to miss Hershey in Pennsylvania. You're going to miss Ohio. You're going to miss Kentucky. You're going to see how bad my geography is. You're going to miss that whole process all the way getting to your destination. Same thing with weight loss. It can be fun. It can be actually enjoyable. It can be easy and uncomplicated. This is what I teach my clients. Uncomplicated, simple. Visualize yourself as someone who loves this process. And if you can't get on board with, oh my gosh, I love the weight loss process, that's okay. Pick the things out that you do like about it. Ooh, I love, like a common thing is most of my clients are like, I love how I feel after I work out. Grab onto that. Because again, you want to build evidence for your brain why this is an incredibly awesome idea to get in great shape. And by shape, I mean be in the best health that you can be. So, how would someone who enjoys this process, right? And again, if you can't get to love, maybe you can be like, I kind of like this part of it, right? Just stair step your way up to love. How would she think? How would she feel? How would she act during the day? How would a person who really enjoys taking care of their body, how would she be? Embody that and that journey. Not only will it go faster, but you're going to enjoy it so much more. Think about it. If you drove from New Jersey to California and you were grumbling and complaining the entire ride, that ride feels like it takes a year. But if you're singing songs, got a great playlist going, enjoying seeing the scenery, stopping for, sightseeing things or whatever, it's going to be so much fun. And you're going to get to California what feels like a lot faster. Same thing with weight loss. Your brain does not know the difference between reality and fantasy. And this is a beautiful thing. I want you to practice experiencing what that version of you is like today. Because your brain, when you start envisioning that, this is why I think daydreaming is so important for us adults. When you start daydreaming, you start getting into a different um, energy level in your body. It makes you feel awesome. And what happens is you pop your own bubble when you're like, oh, that's not realistic. If we can stay out of reality for a little bit and stay in the process, in the energy of, oh my gosh, when I am XYZ, that lean body that I want, this is how I think I'm going to feel. This is how I think I'm going to think. These are the things that I'm going to do in my life. And then start doing them now. Because if you're going to hold on to this toxic idea of like, I'll be happy when I lose weight, I'll be happy when I'm a size 2, I'll be happy when I'm a size 6, I'll be happy when I fit into my jeans, you're making that trip from New Jersey to California excruciatingly horrific for yourself. Choosing to be in gratitude and be in abundance about your body right now is the key. No matter what size you are, no matter how your jeans do or do not fit you. So, you can, if you're driving, don't do this. But if you're in a space where you can, close your eyes. Imagine your best day ever. Imagine you're in this body. Even imagine as you go through this journey, right? Imagine, if you can't imagine yourself, say you have 50 pounds to lose. If you can't imagine yourself down 50 pounds and what that looks like for you, totally okay. Can you imagine yourself down 2 pounds? Can you imagine yourself down 5 pounds? What is slightly different? And you may be like, there's nothing different. There is. Start looking for it. Because again, it starts in your brain. It's not about the things that you're doing, nothing like that. Meaning food and exercise, right? We're going internal before you get the external. So bring that energy to your today now. So the other thing I love about life in general, and especially weight loss, is make it a game, right? For us ladies out there, some of you may be gamers. Say some of you may like video games. I know back in my day, this was a long time ago, I was so proud of myself because I conquered, and I mean nailed, Castlevania. We're talking years ago. And I got to the end of that entire game thing, and then I was like, I'm done. I don't need to play ever again. I'm good. But I'm sure there's some level of you, especially if you're a type A competitive person like myself, there's this element of games, right? And challenges. Why can't you turn your weight loss journey into one of them? And I'm not talking about like, oh my gosh, I have to hit XYZ steps or because I'll get my light up thing on my watch. Not like that. Like, start looking at how many days in a row you're moving your body. How many days in a row are you feeling happy about your body? Celebrate those energy levels. Celebrate when you feel really confident. Celebrate the mind shift. Celebrate any ahas, any mental shifts that you get instead of just, oh my gosh, I stepped on the scale and I'm down a pound. Okay. Do you love my new voice for that? um, Also, treating yourself as you go through the journey. And I'm not talking about food because again, that's a whole nother, maybe that should be a whole nother podcast about having food as a reward. But reward yourself with, and it doesn't even have to be monetarily. Like you could go get an outfit, right? Go get a nice workout outfit or an outfit that you want to work out in. Go buy yourself some flowers. Go do things like that. Now, some of you, which I have to admit, I'm kind of in this boat a little bit too, of like, if I want something, I'm just going to go get it. So for me, that's not always the reward that I want. So if I hit one of my goals, for me, buying something isn't always a reward that's like, oh yeah, but getting into the feeling and the accomplishment of like, yes, I totally nailed that for me is my high, is my gamification. You can absolutely do friendly competitions with your friends, but I highly recommend that it comes from you competing against yourself. Every day you're getting better than the last version of yourself. Not that there was anything wrong with you yesterday, but as you want to level up, I mean, think about it. If you do small little micro increments of leveling up each day, imagine in 365 days the different person that you will be. The other thing you can do is have fun with your workouts. You can theme them, right? Pretend you're training for an adventure camp. Um, Dance, do a dance off in your house. Things like that. Like make it fun, make it creative. Let's talk about those little micro wins while we're talking about wins. Celebrate every small win because your brain is like a computer. If you enter into Google search bar some words, you're gonna get a strew, I don't know if that's a word, a slew, I think that's the word I want, a slew of topics, a slew of links that you can go to, right? So it's gathering the information to you. And sorry, my dog is talking to the other dog in the neighborhood. It's bringing you information that you are looking for, right? It's the same thing with our brains. A good example is if you're on social media, like so if you're on TikTok, first of all, follow me if you're on TikTok. But if you're on TikTok and you start watching dog videos of the guy who does the voice, you know who I'm talking about. If you're not, I can't remember his name. It's Rockstar something. But if you are following dog videos where there's an overlay of funniness, all of a sudden more dog posts will start showing up. If you're following me, you're probably going to get more stuff from me. You're going to get more stuff about mindset. You're going to get more stuff about fitness, exercise, and wellness, right? So it's pulling you in. It's the same thing with your brain. When you decide to focus on something, your brain will start to go look for evidence or information and pull it to you. Now, this can be to our benefit or not. So if you're in a negative space of like, I'm trying to lose weight, but all I see are these skinny biatches wandering around in little skimpy skirts, and why can't I be them? And woe is me, you are going to be drawing that in. But if you're like, no, I totally nailed this. I have this. It's completely done. I've got this. I have a formula, blah, blah, blah. Then you're going to start finding evidence to support that. So when you're looking for your small wins, that is giving your brain almost like that little gold star of like, yay, okay, we're going to file that in the yes, this is working, yes, this is what I want, that kind of thing. So as you create those little wins, you're going to be creating little tiny mindset shifts that again accumulate and will eventually tip over more into the other side and give you massive results over time. I love having a journal that is strictly for wins. Start, get one, start writing it down. If you don't want to have it in a paper journal, put it on your phone. Have a section in your phone of like, how awesome am I? And I want to also encourage you to get out of the ego part of this, right? Because some people may think, oh, she's like, talking about how awesome she is and everything. Why don't we talk about that more? We are awesome in our own way, shape, and form. Each of us has some sort of awesomeness about us, right? Why don't we celebrate that more? And again, it's not coming from ego. There's a difference between, oh, I'm the best and I'm boastful, and that's coming from actually insecurity. But when you're confident about yourself and you're declaring, oh, I did this awesome today, I did this awesome today, that is a different energy. That is what you want to tap into, not the ego stuff, the insecurity stuff. So just remember that every time you have a win, you're basically gamifying again. You're getting those gold stars. You're getting your brain to get on board with your goals. So I encourage you to get a journal book and write down one thing that you did awesome today, right? That's moving you in the direction of what you say you want, even if it's just listening to this podcast episode. So, final pep talk. The journey to health and wellness isn't about fixing yourself because honestly, there is nothing wrong with you right now as you are. I don't care if you're 100 pounds overweight. I don't care if you're 200 pounds overweight. I don't care if you've done 9,000 diets. I don't care if you are doing all the things. You're not you're worthy. There's nothing wrong with you in this moment. There's never was anything wrong with you. It's just if you have dreams and goals and ambitions, they're just not lining up with how you're operating right now, right? So if you're overweight and you don't want to be overweight, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just if you want that goal, we need to tweak the thoughts and patterns, right? It's about becoming more of who you truly are, right? You talk about me leveling up and all this other thing, and it's interesting. The more I coach, the more I kind of equate this leveling up like the Russian dolls. I don't know what they're called, but the stacking Russian dolls where you open one up and then there's another one inside, and then you open that one up and there's another one inside, and you keep going until there's this little itty bitty doll in the inside, right? But that little itty bitty doll is like your energy, your soul, your you. And what we have done through time and years and decades is we put these shells on top of each other to protect ourselves, right? Maybe you had a trauma when you were little and you, right, that first doll got clicked in. And then you were a teenager and something happened and click, there's another layer. And you just keep layering these Russian dolls, right? Until you have this bigger version of yourself. But all the inside is what you truly are, right? So getting those layers, unpeeling all those layers, taking those dolls apart so you can get down to who you truly are is the key. There's nothing wrong with you. You just built up some protective phases in the right word, but you've built up protective armor, for lack of a better word, for yourself as you are navigating through this world. But you don't have to hold on to them. You can be that little bitty itty doll in the center. And what I want to say too, even though it's a little bitty itty doll, there's something amazing about that spark that's in that version of you, right? So you can have fun during this whole weight loss process. I encourage my clients to have fun. The way I structure my programs, again, I uncomplicate it. I have clients unlearn a bunch of things that is not necessary for you to get to the body you want. Having fun is going to get you to California and that weight loss very quick, wherever you want to travel to, right? That is the secret for long-term success. It's getting your mind on board with the goals that you want and enjoying the process. So just as a reminder, you are already amazing. You do not have to change anything about you, only if you decide. This is about making your life better because you just want to, not because there's anything wrong with you. All right. That is a wrap for me. I hope this episode gave you some aha moments. And if you would do me a favor, please share this with a friend, post it on social media, or tag me on Instagram or any of my other social media platforms. I'm really on a mission to impact as many women as I can. And if you want to help me on this journey, I welcome you and I would be so grateful to you for helping me push this out and have more people be impacted by my message. Because we don't have to hate ourselves skinny. We do not have to do the grueling, punishing workouts. We do not have to hate ourselves to get the body that we want, to be healthy, right? It's not about suffering. It's about finding what lights you up and enhances your life. I heard this on, and I honestly, I don't remember the guy's name. It was on a TikTok video. And he was talking about how um, the body that you want, it doesn't matter. Like, we have this like, oh, I should be a size 4 or I should be whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like, what do you want to do in your life? So if you want to go rollerblading or if you want to play pickleball, you need to create the body to support the things that you want to do. If you want to be able to easily pick up your laundry, bring it down 2 flights of stairs, and then bring it back up to your room and not be winded and not have a problem, you want to create the body that you want to support the activities that you want to do. And again, this comes from your mindset. It comes from what's going on in your brain. Before I go off on another tangent, thank you again for being here. Thank you for listening to this podcast. Again, I'm always in gratitude and so grateful that people are listening to this because it just amazes me at how many people this little podcast reaches. So please push it out. Please share my message. If you're running into anyone and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of diets, direct them to this podcast, please. So you've got this. I'm totally cheering you on from over here every step of the way. And if you want to work with me and have me actually tell you in person that I am cheering you on, there's a lot of options that you can take to work with me. I have the Jumpstart program. I also have private coaching. I do have some openings that are coming up. So if you're not on my email list, I highly recommend you get on that because I'm going to be announcing those very shortly. And to get on my email list, just simply go to Weight Loss for Women Over 40 /book, BOOK, and grab your free copy of 5 Reasons Why You Are Not Losing Weight Over 40 and enjoy that ebook. Get on my email and enjoy all the emails that I will send out that give you extra stuff to help you on your journey. And if you're ready to take that next step and work with me, you can absolutely do the Jumpstart program, which is a group program, or private coaching. All right, that is all for me today. Stay true to you, stay on the path, and reach out if you need help. I hope you have a wonderful, amazing day, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.